Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just didn't want you to. Yeah, I got no notes.
Well, that's because you're just coming off.
I mean,
Just catch up.
the feeling of it, there's a huge deficit.
You'll catch up. Shower, too.
The momentum's good, but I feel like I'm out of step with it.
Yeah, but you got your batteries charged, so
I
that's.
have to abstain from all these votes.
No.
No, I'm good. You all right? Oh, I don't.
No. I do. Ready? No, I mean you. I'm talking about you.
You want to do these all together, like we just did?
No, one at a time. One at a time. Yeah. Peg will introduce them.
Did you read the CCAP reports?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Northampton County Council meeting of August 3rd, 2017 to order. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer. Thank you, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Ms. Zembo, can you call the roll?
Mr. Fennell?
Here.
Mr. Kuzic?
Present.
Mr. Dees?
Here.
Mrs. Ferrara? Here. Mr. Geisinger?
Present.
Mr. Kraft?
Here.
Mr. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Vaughn?
Here.
And Mr. Warner?
Here.
All present with Mr. Vaughn by phone.
All present, one electronically. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the July 20th, 2017 meeting. Moved by Mr. Warner to approve by acclamation, seconded by Mr. Dietz. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions?
Abstain.
None? One abstention? Mr. Geisinger. Next is courtesy of the floor. Have one person signed up, Jack D'Alessandro, Bangor, PA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jack D'Alessandro, Bangor, PA. I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Department. During the power outage at the last meeting, they assisted me in getting my scooter down 4 flights of stairs, and I really appreciate the effort. I'd like to thank them. Number 2, somebody put speed humps in the parking deck, but there's no sign that says speed humps. You know, I found them the hard way the first time. I had the truck. That's rough. Thank you. Have a good day. Night.
Thank you. That was all we had signed up. Is there anyone else that would like to address council under courtesy of the floor this evening? There being none, next item is the controller's report. Mr. Barron is not here this evening. Then the county executive's report. Mr. Brown, did you have anything this evening? Okay, no report. Next is old business. We have no items listed. Is there any old business that any member of council would like to bring up at this time? There being none, we will move now into new business. First item is the consideration of a resolution approving of the fiscal year 2017 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan for the County of Northampton. And at this time, I'll call on Mrs. Ferraro to introduce the resolution.
The Economic Development Committee met earlier this evening and moved that all of the 3 items under new business be moved forward to the meeting tonight, which it has. The first is the fiscal year 2017 Annual Action Plan for the CDBG funds, and the substantial amendment is hereby approved. It is cognizant of the conditions that are imposed in the undertaking and carrying out community development activities with federal financial assistance. The county executive and the Department of Community and Economic Development are authorized to execute and file the financial assistance application for $1,383,422 as HUD has made this amount available to carry out the CDBG program. The county executive is hereby authorized to provide such assurances and/or certifications as required by HUD and also provide any additional documents that may be requested. And Mr. Herlinger is here if anyone still has any question.
Any further discussion or questions for Mr. Herlinger regarding this? It was discussed earlier at the Economic Development Committee. There being none, Ms. Zembo, can we call the vote?
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Deitch?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
And Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Passes by a vote of 9-0.
Passes unanimously. Then the next item under new business is consideration of a resolution approving the submittal of an application for funding to the Community Investment Partnership Program. And again, I'll call on Mrs. Ferraro to
And I
introduce
will
that
just
resolution.
read, now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council that the county executive is hereby authorized to file an application to the Community Investment Partnership Program in the amount of $128,500 and to accept the funding and provide any additional documentation requested to assure the 5 projects listed can be accomplished.
Okay. Mr. Herlinger, if you just review those projects for our audience at home.
Yes, the projects are 4 municipality projects and 1 senior project. They include the boroughs of Freemansburg, which is an ADA Act municipal building improvement, North Catasauqua, ADA playground equipment, Tatamy, ADA municipal entrance improvements, West Easton, ADA sidewalk for municipal park, and the Northampton Senior Citizens Center, which requires ADA entrance doors. We did a project with them last year for the restrooms in there and making them ADA accessible. We are delighted to ask your permission for this. We could not find a way to fund every request through CDBG, and we came up short on a number of really good, valuable projects. So this year we decided to kind of think outside the box, split the difference between CDBG and Community Investment Partnership Program, as you know, is funded by table games. And so as part of the application to that, we're just bringing you up to speed that we're doing that, asking that it's okay for us to use that mechanism. These projects probably would not be able to go forward for lack of funding otherwise.
Hey, again, this was discussed earlier this evening. Are there any further questions regarding this resolution? There being none, Ms. Zembo, can we call the vote?
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
And Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Passes by a vote of 9-0.
Passes unanimously. Next item under new business is the consideration of a resolution approving the filing for an emergency shelter grant, and I'll call on Mrs. Ferraro to introduce that
Now
resolution.
therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council that approval is given to apply for a grant from the Pennsylvania DCED Fiscal Year 2017 Emergency Solutions Grant Program in the amount of $150,000 and provide the dollar-for-dollar matching funds. The county executive and DCED are authorized to execute and file the application and provide any assurances and/or certifications or additional documents that might be requested. Any questions again, Mr. Herlinger?
This was
No.
discussed earlier.
Already discussed, yeah.
Any further questions on grant? Okay, Ms. Zembo, can we call the vote?
Mrs. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mr. Geisinger?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Mr. Bennell?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
And Mr. Deep?
Yes.
Passes by a vote of 9-0.
Passes unanimously. That was all we had under new business this evening. Is there any other new business to come before council that anyone would like to bring up at this time? Okay. There being none, council committee reports. Mrs. Ferraro?
The Economic Development Committee met this evening, and we had two very extensive positive reports, one from Nazareth Borough and the other from the Bethlehem Local Economic Development for the LERDA that will be coming before us one day soon. And there are two different LERDAs in Bethlehem.
Okay.
So this is the one in what they call the north side. Okay.
Any questions or comments on that? Any other committee reports? No further committee reports. Council liaison reports. Any liaison reports? Mr. Phillips?
Yeah, as a member of the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, I attended the commissioners' meeting, and I'm also a member of their subcommittee on transportation, and I attended that. And I have a couple other things, John, if you don't mind.
Certainly, we have time.
I attended a Council of Governments meeting that our Economic Committee held up in Graysdale. I also attended a Northern Tier Trail Steering Committee. This is a steering committee that put that 35-mile trail between Portland and Bangor. I attended a review of the Controller's audit of Lehigh Township Booking Center. There was Mr. Barron, of course, he conducted the review, Mrs. Miller from Lehigh Township, and Mr. Dietz. We went through that in some detail, had quite a bit of a conversation. I don't think I'm going to say anything more than that in regards to what the future holds on that, but I think that everybody now definitely has a command of the booking center fees up there, and I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other liaison reports? Okay. Council clerk report? Nothing to report. Council solicitor, Mr. Lauer, anything this evening? Nope. Any further business to come before council tonight? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Mr. Bennell, seconded by Mr. Kraft. Have a nice evening, everyone.
That was quick.
Wow. 12 minutes. That's
Thank you, Council.
Long enough to get a nap here.
Yes, ma'am. When is it?
I have to double check.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
This Tuesday?
Yeah.
You know what? I will probably pop my head in to eat, but I'm not. I don't need to be on the menu. I don't need to reserve anything.